Okay, hello. This video is a tutorial for posting to Elephant Journal's Facebook pages. As you probably know, Elephant Journal has a number of sub-pages on Facebook that cover the various topics that are posted to the Elephant Journal website. So I'm going to cover from start to finish how to navigate and review the pages as a content creator, how to find content to post, and then of course how to schedule those posts. So just a couple of quick notes. It's best to post using a computer rather than a tablet or a phone. Right now, Facebook Mobile is lacking some capabilities, so you may be missing some features if you try to post that way. There is an app for Facebook called the Pages Manager that might work in a pinch, but I think it also has a few limitations. So feel free to leave a comment if you have any extra advice or information about using other devices to post on Facebook. So the first thing we're going to do is just to make sure that we have content creator access to the page. So you can see above that there is a line that says you are posting, commenting, and liking as Elephant Food. So of course that means that you've got access. Now you don't want to post as yourself, but if you do want to share the post after you've created it, you can definitely then change to yourself and click the share button to post to your personal timeline. So now before deciding what to post, we should take a look at what's already been posted and when. So as you can see, scrolling through the page, there are a number of posts here to keep your eye on. And just keep in the back of your mind what's already been posted to the page. We like to keep approximately 24 hours in between posting the same article on the same page. Because our readers are going to have these posts appearing in their timeline, of course they don't want to see the same post come up over and over and over again, so we like to keep the material fresh. So there is another way to review what's already been posted to the page, and this is something that I prefer to use more often. If you scroll up to the top of the page and use the Edit Page menu and then click on the activity log, you will get another view of all of the posts that have been posted to the page, but on top there's also a section for what's scheduled to be posted in the future. And this particular page doesn't have anything scheduled at the moment, but this is where it would appear if there were. And you can still get a really good and minimal kind of view of what's been posted to the page, which is great, rather than scanning through all of the various posts willy-nilly through the page. This just gives you a nice streamlined view, so it's easier to keep in mind what's been posted. So now what we're going to do is find some content to post on the page, and the first thing that I do is I look at the main page on elephantjournal.com to see what's available for posting to my Facebook page. And we like to keep the content new and fresh, so of course we want to take a look and see what's been posted recently here. That's worth sharing, but of course keeping in mind that we don't want to reshare the same posts over and over again within the same 24 hours. So most of these posts here on the main page have already been shared on Elephant Food recently within the last 24 hours, so I'm going to just go ahead and look for some new content. And the way that I do that is I search using the site filter on Google. So in Chrome here I can just use my address bar to do that, and I use site:elephantjournal.com, which then will bring up only posts from Elephant Journal. And then I put in my keywords. So of course it's October, I'm going to put in fall recipe. You could just put food, but this gives you something a little bit more specific to look for. And as you can see, there are a number of articles now available to look at. So I'm going to look at this kale article and just open it in a new tab, because if it's not good enough, of course I'm just going to close it off and look for something different. So a couple of things to keep an eye out for are older posts that may have formatting issues or video issues, or of course posts that are no longer relevant. You don't want to be posting articles about elections from 3 years ago, that kind of thing. When we previously embedded Pinterest images into the articles directly, they're no longer working. So now those articles definitely look kind of funny with the formatting, and we want to avoid posting those. And we want to avoid posting articles with videos that no longer load, because obviously our readers are not going to like that. So avoid those, but this article looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Another thing that we can post on the Facebook pages are the image quotes, and I like to use Pinterest to find those. So I just use the filter again, but this time Pinterest.com, and I put in my keyword, and it's going to be quotes about food, obviously, um, so that I can find something relevant, and then I just click on the images tab within Google so that it'll show me all of the images. So a couple of things to keep an eye on when we're looking for an image is just to avoid images that are advertising a website or the tool that was used to make the image. So in this case, you can see here at the bottom of this image that it's advertising a website, and we want to avoid posting anything like that. There are some tools available to make our own custom images that we can advertise our own website, and I'll leave a link at the bottom of the video for that, but in this case this is a great image to use. It looks clean and simple, and it has a mindful theme, so I'm going to go ahead and just save that to my computer so that I can post it later. So just a note about these quote images and text quotes and that sort of thing. A couple of them throughout the day is great, but we don't want to overload the page with them because the majority of the content posted to the Elephant Journal subpages on Facebook should be, of course, Elephant Journal articles. Another option is to post a question which engages the audience or the fans of the page. So that's a fun idea and something that you can do once in a while as well. So I'm just going to look for one more item to post, which is just a text quote, and it's one that I've seen recently, which is by Joss Whedon. And so there it is. I'm going to go ahead and open that up as well. Okay, now I've got all of my content lined up ready to post, and I like to kind of find all of the articles and images and that sort of thing before I start posting them all to the subpages, especially if I have to post to a number of subpages and I have a schedule to keep, because that way you can post the same article to a couple of relevant subpages. So now I'm going to go ahead and post this kale article to the food subpage, and I'm just going to post the link into the status box. And what pops up is the title, some text, and the image. So once that preview pops up, you can go ahead and just delete the link that you originally pasted. And just a note about the images that appear in the preview, once in a while the wrong image will appear in the preview, and you'll want to fix that, obviously. So there are a couple of ways to do that. First, you can go ahead and just save the correct image from the article itself, and then you can use this upload image button here to upload a different image. Another thing that you can do is use this Facebook debugger tool, and you just post the link in here and click debug, and it will magically fix the image in the preview. Of course, this doesn't always work. Most of the time it does work, but every once in a while, despite doing this, the wrong image will still appear, and in that case you're just going to have to create the post a little differently. So I'll show you how to do that next. But in this case the image does work, so that's fine. I'll go ahead and put the debugger tool in a comment at the bottom of this video so that you have access to it as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this extra text out of the preview, and that's something that you can do or not do based on personal preference, but I like to remove it. What you should always do, though, is add an intro to the top of the post, and this should be something super personal. So think about how you'd describe this post to a friend if you wanted them to read it. What was awesome, what made you laugh, why it's important, that sort of thing. Sometimes you can find a quote in the article here that says it all. So rather than an intro that you write, a quote fits best, and you can definitely do that too. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and write in my own personal intro to the post. And just be mindful of typos and spelling errors and that sort of thing. Make sure that you double check everything on the post before you hit the post or schedule button. And another thing to keep an eye on is swearing. Some titles will have swears in them and that sort of thing, but we don't want to be vulgar, of course. And then add your sign off. And you can add your sign off in a number of different formats. You can add it in brackets, you can do it here as I have, you can include or not include your last initial. It doesn't really matter as long as you just add in your name. So another way that you can post to the Facebook subpages with this link is by including just a link and the actual image from the article in your sign off. So I'm just going to go ahead and reload the page here because sometimes if you just delete the text in the status box and repost a link, the preview won't always pop up. Okay, so I'm going to post the link in again, and you can see that the preview is going to pop up again, but this time I'm going to just close it off. And this is handy when the site is a little bit slow and the preview doesn't want to load, period. This gives you another way to post. So again, with my sign off, and this time instead of deleting the link, I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to add in my personal intro to the article again. And then what I'm going to do is save an image from the article itself. And then I'm going to click on the photo link on the status and upload photo. Okay. And that'll just give you a larger view of the photo and the link for people to click. It's just another way to post. Okay, so another way that you can post on the subpages is with just a link and the text for the intro and no image whatsoever. And this is useful when there's a post where the image, the preview image or an image that you would save from the post would give it away entirely. And then people, of course, wouldn't want to bother clicking on it to look at the article itself. So if you want to add a little intrigue to your post, that's an option. Okay, next I'm going to add the Pinterest image that we saved from earlier. So I just select the photo and add my sign off, and it's good to go. And the next thing that we can do is then select the text from the quote that we saved and add that to the status box. And again, make sure that you're putting in the credit info for the quote and your own sign off. Okay, so now that you've seen all the different ways that we can post this content, I'm going to reload the page and gather my link from the first article that we looked at. And I'm going to post it into the status box again and then show you how we schedule the posts. So I'm adding the link into the status box again, the preview's popping up. I'm going to delete the link. I'm going to add my intro. Again, just double checking that I don't have any typos or spelling errors because that just doesn't look very good. And then my sign off, and delete any extra space, and remove the extra text from the preview. That's ready to go. So this little timer button will allow you to choose the year, the month, the day, and the time. So of course, when you schedule the post will depend on the timestamp of the last post and whether or not you have a schedule that's assigned to you. So on the bottom left of this status box, you can see that timer button that I clicked to get the date to pop up, and that's usually one of the features that's missing when you're posting on mobile devices. Okay, so I've hit the schedule button and the window pops up that allows me to view the activity log, and I'm going to just double check that I haven't posted on top of anyone else and that there isn't too little of a gap in between posts. If you find that you have posted at the wrong time, you can use that little gray arrow at the top right of the scheduled post box, and that'll allow you to just reschedule the post to a different time so you don't have to delete it entirely. Scheduled posts cannot be edited, unfortunately. You have to delete it and restart over if you've made a typo or if it's got the wrong image or that sort of thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and also schedule the Pinterest image that I selected from earlier. And I'm going to schedule this for a little later in the day. And again, view activity log pops up, and then I'm going to take a look and make sure that, once again, I'm not scheduling it on top of anyone else. Now I can go ahead and post the same image to another relevant Facebook page. Keep in mind that some people will like a number of our Elephant Journal subpages, so if you're going to post the same image or article to a number of the pages, try to post at different times throughout the day so that when people are looking at their news feeds, they don't see the same post come up repeatedly at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule this one for the next day at a different time, and click View Activity Log to make sure that I'm not posting on top of anyone else. And that looks great. So just a couple of housekeeping notes about the Facebook posts or shares. Like I said, keep an eye on the time between posts. It's a minimum of 1 hour between posts and a maximum of 3. So another thing to keep note of is your time zone. All schedules on Elephant Journal operate on Mountain Standard Time. So if you're in a different time zone, you're going to want to make sure that you're posting at the right time. For example, if I've got a schedule to post at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the Health and Wellness page, I'm going to post at 5 p.m. my time. Another thing that we'll want to keep an eye on is the swearing, and some Elephant Journal articles will have a swear in the title. Most of the swears will have a star so that the full word isn't written out. And we can do the same if we feel that a swear would work in our intro, but for the most part try to avoid it. We definitely don't want to have any sort of vulgar language because we don't know who's reading these Facebook pages. So another thing to keep an eye on is nudity. There should be absolutely no nudity posted on Facebook. If you post, for instance, a breast for a breastfeeding article, our Facebook page would get shut down. And we have to ensure that nothing whatsoever that can be construed as nudity is posted. Okay, so lastly, feel free to engage in the pages that you're posting to. So you can go ahead and like the comments that fans are posting, and you can even respond with mindful responses to the comments. There are a couple of things to keep in mind when looking at the comments on these pages. If there's anything downright nasty from a commenter, feel free to click the X button beside their comment, which will hide it from anyone except for themselves and their friends. If you see questions about having to pay for Elephant Journal content, you can look at the main Elephant Journal Facebook page for examples on how we respond to those comments. For example, we usually include a link to the newsletter that offers additional free reads, as well as some other comments. And of course, whenever you're replying to a fan on our Facebook pages, just ensure that you're replying as the page and that you add your little sign off at the end of each comment. So another thing to keep an eye out for are comments that have links in them. It's totally fine if a fan wants to comment with a link, but we don't want the preview image and text to pop up in the link because that does detract from the Elephant Journal content. So we usually hit the remove preview button on those comments. And of course, we also want to look out for anything that's obvious spam and remove that from the comments. Okay, so I think that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, please direct them to your mentor or an editor or in the appropriate group pages rather than on this video. Thanks for watching and have fun posting on your pages.